How's it going today? My name is Matt Johnson. I'm with Social Security Education Center. And our organization is dedicated to educating as many Americans as possible about their Social Security benefits. And today we've got a fun one for you. We're gonna do a deep dive on spousal benefits and what that means. Okay, now if you stick around to the end, I'm gonna show you the most common pitfall around spousal benefits and how you can avoid losing a lot of money. It happened to my father-in-law. Now, when I have people coming into my office, I see two major points of confusion. The first point is so many people think, okay, if I am married, then I get a spousal benefit, right? Which is not the case. You're either going to collect off of your own work record or you're going to collect off of a spousal record. The second point of confusion I see is that I see a lot of people that, maybe they stayed home for a number of years, they didn't work, so they don't quite qualify for Social Security, and they think, I'll never get anything. But if they're married, they can qualify for a spousal benefit, even though they don't qualify on their own work record, and we'll talk about that. So how do you know if it's even applicable to you? How do you know if you qualify for a spousal benefit? Well, when you go to Social Security and you apply, they're gonna look at all of the options available to you. And then specifically, they're gonna look at your work record versus your spouse's work record. And if your work record is less than half of your spouse's, then you can qualify. Okay, so let's look at an example here. This Wanda worker comes from the Social Security website. Okay, so let's say you're Wanda worker, and let's say, let's say she's a welder, okay? Wanda worker, the welder. And let's say she's married to Larry the laborer, okay? So Wanda and Larry are trying to figure out if they're going to qualify for a spousal benefit, okay? So Wanda comes in, and she looks at this statement. They'll start sending you this statement as you approach age 62. But Wanda looks at her statement. She sees, okay, my full retirement age is 67, okay? And then she comes over here and says, at 67, my benefit is $2,119. So how we know if Larry will get a spousal benefit or not is if it's less than half of this 2119 number. So if Larry's full retirement age benefit is less than 1,060, then he's going to qualify for a spousal benefit, and he'll get that 1,060 from Wanda's work record. Now, if his benefit is greater than half of this, if it's greater than 1,060, then he'll just always be collecting on his own work record. And they'll always collect on their own individual work records, and they'll never have to worry about spousal benefits. Now, what are the rules? Don't you just love rules? All right, so first rule we gotta be aware of is you do have to be married for 1 year. Before you can turn on spousal benefits, have to have been married for a year, okay? The primary earner has to have already turned his or hers on, because you can't collect a spousal benefit unless that spouse whose work record you're gonna collect the benefit from has already turned his or her Social Security benefits on. Number 3, the age range at which you can collect a Social Security benefit is really 62 to whenever, but it's 62 to your full retirement age as to the realistic age range, okay? So you can start as early as 62, as long as the primary earner has turned theirs on, or you can wait until your full retirement age. Now, one thing to note here, on your own work record, sometimes it can make sense to go till age 70. As a spousal benefit, you don't get any extra benefit for waiting beyond your full retirement age. So rarely would you wait beyond age 67, if that's your full retirement age, in order to claim a spousal benefit. The only time you would ever do it is if you didn't qualify for Social Security at all, and you were waiting for your spouse wanted to go until age 70 or something like that, and so you couldn't collect until they turned theirs on. Last and final here is you are subject to the annual earnings test. Okay, so for 2024, prior to full retirement age, you can only make $22,320. That's the threshold. before they start taking away your Social Security. And we'll have another video on that. But that's applicable for spousal benefits as well. So if you're before your full retirement age, you have to be aware of how much you're making in terms of earned income. Now, I do want to throw up an example on the board just so we can kind of look through it. And also, I do want to show you the most common pitfall here in a sec, okay? But let's just say you've got a couple. Let's call them Hank and Jane, okay? And let's say Hank has a full retirement age benefit of $3,000. And let's say Jane has a full retirement age benefit of $1,000, okay? So again, they can start as early as 62. They can start at 67. And then technically, Hank could go and delay as long as 70, right? But let's just say, to keep it easy, let's say they both went to apply at age 67. And to keep it simple, let's just say they both had the exact same birthday, okay? Now, Hank and Jane go to apply at their full retirement age of 67. So what happens is Hank gets $3,000, okay? And then what Social Security does is they say, okay, Jane, you could either get $1,000 from your own work record, or you could get half of Hank's, $1,500. So that's what she would get, because she would get the higher of what's available to her. So she would start collecting $1,500, and they would both collect that from there on out until one of them passed away, okay? Now, let's change a few things. Let's say, one of the very common strategies I see for those couples that are trying to figure out, do I go now? Do I go later? A very common strategy is to kind of play both sides and start the lower earning spouse sooner while you delay the higher earning spouse. And part of that we'll get into later when we talk about survivor benefits, but a big key to that is protecting the surviving spouse. But that's a very common strategy. So let's say that's what happens here. So let's say Jane wants to start at age 62. Okay, so Social Security is gonna look at her benefit. Hank's benefit, the spousal benefit, isn't an option because he hasn't turned his on. So she can get her benefit, but it's gonna be discounted because she's starting early, okay? So she's gonna get, at 62, she's gonna get about $700 every single month, okay? Now, if Hank decides that he wants to turn his on at full retirement age, he's going to get $3,000. Jane is going to receive something called the spousal boost. It's also called the spousal add-on, the spousal top-up, okay? And so she's not going to get the $1,500 because she's still going to be penalized for having started early, but she will get about $1,200. And that's what they're going to be receiving every month until one of them passes away, okay? Now here's the key. Here's where a lot of people lose out on benefits. Theoretically, Social Security, when Hank turns his on, they're supposed to tell him that Jane is now qualified for a higher monthly benefit, or they're supposed to call Jane and tell her that. In practice, doesn't happen a lot, okay? So if yours is the case that you're gonna qualify for a spousal boost later on, an additional $500 because the primary earner turned his or hers on, you need to make sure that you're aware and that you're calling Social Security and telling them, hey, listen, we just turned the primary earner's Social Security benefit on. I'm entitled to a higher benefit now, I believe. So it's something that you need to be proactive about. It happened to my father-in-law where they started with with his wife's, with my mother-in-law, and then when he turned his Social Security benefit on, she didn't get that top up automatically, and so they went a few months before they even realized it. So it's something to be aware of. Thanks for watching, checking out the video. Thanks for supporting Social Security Education Center. I'm Matt Johnson. I'll see you on the next one.